Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of GBear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. Here it is, February 23rd already. Can you imagine? Boy, this year is flying by. Well, I guess that's because I've been stuck in the cabin with bad weather for a week. Well, I finally got out yesterday, and I went out and did a little bit of metal detecting down at the end of my driveway where it meets the dirt road. When I first came here, there was a pile of trash over there, and I picked up all the big stuff and got rid of it. And then I decided I was going to go over there and just go through it and see what was on there. I found these two coins there, and nothing real particular. This is a 1980 penny. Looks like it's been sitting out there for a while. And this may look like a quarter, but it's not. This is actually, I found a few others of these when I first got out here. Famous facts and faces from the Shell game, from the Shell Motor Oil Company. 1968 is when that game was around. So I looked those up, and in good shape. They're worth about $1.34 each. No big thing, but just a little bit of fun. There's a few campsites around here that I've run into when I was driving my ATV around, and I just think I'm going to take the Harbor Freight metal detector and go check those out too. But first thing I want to do is make myself a little classifier out of a can, because the way I was classifying that was I'd take a scoop with my shovel, and then I'd spread it out, and then I'd check different sections of it, and if I still got a tone, then I'd spread out some more, and so forth and so on. With a little classifier can, I can just shake it and see what shows up in the can. So I'll make up one of those and get that done. So it was a nice day today, but it's getting ready for the sun to move towards the horizon here. And it's starting to get a little clouds in the sky, get a little chilly, a little wind blowing, making some electricity up there. And the girls have been out all day. I just put them back in and gave them their treats, and they're all as happy as can be. This is what I've been doing today. My friend Andy and I are going to go up into the mountains and check out some places up there and do some metal detecting and prospecting and things like that. Follow my streams all the way up to the mountain, as you will. Anyway, what I did was I had this 4x4 trailer, and it was just sitting in here, and I once had this set up with double seats on it, so I could go to the Adelanto Grand Prix out in the desert, and I could give people rides in this thing, and we could go into town and pick up groceries, things like that, and I could seat 6 on this thing. But I just modified it, and I put these sides on here, and I'm going to turn this into a prospecting trailer where I can put all my prospecting stuff inside of here, along with a bunch of buckets, so we can head off with the ATV. I'm going to put some little detachable holders all the way around this thing, and this is something I made. The detachable holders, by the way, will hold things like my little sluice box and some tools and a pick and things like that. So anyway, I made these up, these little brackets or whatever they are. I don't know where I got these, but years ago they came from something, and I threw them into one of my drawers inside, and yesterday I was inside the container cleaning out drawers, and I found 6 of these. Well, I needed 4 of them, so I modified them, and I put this as the pivot point, the eye screw, and then I got a chain on here. So these just lift up, and they lock over a screw, and I cut one of the screw holes out and made a notch in it. So I've got these on the 2 back ends here, and then of course my tailboard will come down like that, so I can get things in and out of there a little bit easier. That's one of the things. And then on the other side, of course, all these sides just lift out. I made them so that they fit in a groove over the edges there. And then I got 2 more here, so it locks the sides together so they won't bounce out when I'm driving. But these can also be lifted up, and I can pop off the two sides, just leave the front on if I want, and so forth and so on. But this will also double as a farm trailer, so I can move things around here on the ranch when I start getting things like bales of hay and things like that. So I can haul them around, and then I can throw a couple of bales of hay or a bale of hay in that, because I only buy them one at a time right now, and then throw a tarp over this if the weather's going to turn bad on me, and keep my hay dry for a temporary storage area. And I'll lift my screws and stuff out here because I'm going to come out and do some more work on this tomorrow. It's supposed to be a better day tomorrow than it is today. It's getting pretty chilly right now. I've been working with all my tools, but now I got an opening here. And I think I'm going to use those doors and the other doors I got there and some other pieces of glass I have inside the container. And I'm going to build myself, as soon as the weather gets a little warmer, build myself a greenhouse so that I can keep some plants growing through the winter and keep them warm inside. All right, speaking of plants, we're going to head on down. You can see everything's green around here. The girls love this. There's this wild arugula that grows around here, and they really love that stuff. I found some, and I picked it, and I sniffed it, and then went, huh, that smells like arugula. And sure enough, it's just wild arugula just growing around all over the place here. So I pulled some out, and I gave it to them, and they loved it. So now I just go and point it out to them under the bush, and they all go under there and just munch away for an hour at a time. All right, so we're going to go inside here. Everybody's been asking me about the cold weather and how it's been doing. Well, the tangerine tree looks like it took a little bit of a cold there, but the cilantro is doing fine. My watercress is doing fine, and I got some grass growing there. I usually do pick for the girls. Here's my parsley is doing fine. These trees really need to get transplanted. I think they're getting choked off in there. Yeah, and everything's had water, so don't worry about the tops looking dry. If I dig underneath there, it's pretty wet. I did plant some avocado seeds in here from some avocados I bought, and see if anything comes up out of those. Just something to do. This little pallet here, I found some grass growing out there in the desert, and I threw it in there, and I'm going to let that grow up for the girls also. And then here's my kale, and what I do is when I cut the kale, and remember, you could do this also, you cut the kale, don't pull it out of the ground, leave it, and then you see the spouts coming out there, so that'll resprout and grow some more kale. My beets, well, that's all that's left of them. Onions over there, and carrots over here, more onions over here, my cilantro over here, and my radishes. I ate a couple of those yesterday. They were delicious. And then, of course, my grass, my potatoes it's way too cold for potatoes, so I'll have to wait till things warm up a little bit. And look up here, my cover blew off in the winds, so I'll have to get that back on and fasten down a little bit better. I had it tied down with tie wire, but I guess from working back and forth, it broke the tie wires off. All right, so let me get this closed up here, get the lock on so the wind won't blow the door open. I got quite a bit of compost in there. It's probably 2 blocks high all the way through, and pretty rich. So I did turn it just last week. When I got out for a day, I went out there and turned it, but then I threw a bunch more of the stuff when I cleaned out the chicken coop, the nesting and the straw and all of that, and all of the chicken poop all went in there, so it's nitrogen rich. All right, that's about all for today. One thing I wanted to mention was so far that new watt meter that I bought froze up on me twice, and I have to wait until the turbine's not turning and then I can shut off that. I added a breaker in there. It's like a switch now. That's an 80 amp going down to the battery, and I had to shut that off and reboot this thing, and then it worked again, and then all of a sudden it froze up on me. So I contacted the seller. Excuse me. I contacted the seller, but I haven't heard back from him yet. I'm going to contact him again and see if I can get him to warranty the thing, and I'll be glad to send this one back as long as they send me one that works. So I put the old one back in. It's only 150 amp, but this one's working fine, as you can see. It's been 3 days now, and this one is just doing its thing. Of course, there's no output right now because I did find out that this turbine, or this permanent magnet alternator, as they call it, PMA, doesn't produce electricity until the winds reach 9 miles per hour. So you can see it's turning up there, but we've only got like a 2 or a 3 mile an hour wind here, and that's not enough to make it produce electricity. Once it gets up to 9 miles per hour, then I'll see 15, 20, 25 amps, not amps, so watts coming out of it. Once it gets up to anywhere from 10 to 14 miles per hour on the wind, then I really see production. That's when it starts jumping up into the 100 watt range. So it goes up fast, but on the low end, I don't get any production out of it. All right, that's about all. As you can see, everything is doing fine, except my aloe vera really doesn't like the cold. These out here, we're doing pretty good, but here's one that the cold got to and just fell over and died. And these are all empty now. Been getting a few things done, but the wind blows, the temperature drops. It's just get inside and hunker down. That's about all you can do. That's all for today. Reminding you, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up down there. And thank you for all the new subscribers and all the latest comments. I really appreciate the help and the support. And I do love answering your questions and comments and things like that. GBear, signing off.